Ranjit bhai, you did a fantastic job in the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah.
The opening ceremony
Mhm.
is somebody will never forget, whoever has watched it.
Yeah.
The amount of music and
Yeah.
musicians you must have worked with
It
must have been humongous.
It was humongous. It was like about 3 or 4 months of non-stop work, and I think the tiring part was just going to Delhi to present and come back and going to Delhi to present, and I really preferred that than being stationed in Delhi. I wanted to be on home turf and have my gear, and so it was a small price to pay, but it was an incredible experience because simply because of the amount of folk musicians that it put me in touch with, and I got to learn so much. We are very uninformed about our country. We have no idea of the music. They were doing rehearsals in the army grounds, huge grounds, cantonment area in Delhi, and there's a gentleman who was our sort of advisor, consultant. His name is Bansi Kaul. And he is probably the most informed person in this country about our folk culture. And I had to rely on him quite heavily for a lot of inputs and sort of make certain musical directions to validate them and make sure I wasn't blurring the lines between states and musicalities, you know. And we took a walk through this army grounds, and there were pockets of folk musicians rehearsing on their own. And there was a group of Bhil tribe ladies singing the blues. It was the blues scale.
So you got them to Bombay in your studio?
No, we did field recordings. And we took them to another, I rented a large sort of room. We hired a PA, mixers. I took my engineer, Ashish Manchanda, set up mics. We recorded many groups of drummers, chants. Very satisfying experience. A lot of work.
Must be very tiring also.
Not enough time. I guess we always want more time. But I think it's the sort of having to get it approved and then finishing it, and it's a long process, and you can imagine with the government involved, as ministers have to hear it. The creative was Bharat Bala, and he was, fantastic. I mean, he was on my side. But we had to go through certain channels to get approvals before we could actually set them in concrete and then finish arranging and mix, break it out into stems for this Australian crew that had come that were doing playback. So it was a rigorous process, but I was so proud when I watched the opening ceremony. I remember Rahman was there, he texted me. He said, "Awesome, man, incredible." And it was just very satisfying, very satisfying. And really, I think culturally we're so evolved. I really feel if there was a funding body or something that could preserve all these traditions and incorporate them into a more contemporary thing, and I think the face that India could present culturally could be far more varied and beautiful than it is now. There's just not enough support.
Right.
There has to be more support, even for our classical music, of course. All of it needs patrons, and it needs money, and we need musicians to be looked after. All the old, they're neglected. It's what can you do? It's part of the economic progress.
That's true. When it comes to music listening and consumption patterns across the country, it's become a very Bollywood-centric business or industry.
Man is inherently a lazy animal. You see, we as a species, especially now, because we're at top of the food chain, everything is so readily available, we've lost a lot of our primal instincts. So we're being spoon-fed, and man is predominantly a visually oriented animal. So we're looking at the thing that's most shiny and most glamorous, and there are pockets of resistance, people listening to intelligent. And listen, there's no such thing as, even Bollywood. There's only, I like the way John McLaughlin puts it, there's music that's played well and there's music that's not played well. It's all music. I mean, nothing wrong with it. It just can be played better.
Right.
Be a little imaginative. You're in the country of imagination, man. Come on, India, and you can't do something imaginative. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, look at how much music we have. Look at how many styles, how many genres, how much folk, how many sonic characters there are in our country. From street artists to Katputli to how much we have. I mean, we can make so much, such interesting music within mainstream, I feel. Doesn't have to be, everything doesn't have to be four on the floor, I think it's just a matter of being lazy. I think people want the quickest way out. Get it done, get it over, next.
Right, like instant coffee kind of
Yeah,
thing.
just get it done. These are the numbers, this is how much it costs to make, this is how much the distributor will play, this is the first weekend, that's the second weekend. Boom. Next. Yeah, hey. Nothing wrong with that too. Baz Luhrmann makes films. Look at Moulin Rouge, man. Killer. It's a cult film. It made money. So it really depends what our producers and people want to do. But yeah, we could do a lot more.
You work with a various set of programmers and producers,
Yeah.
So how do you end up choosing people, or how do you decide that let me work with him or her? Or
As far as young programmers that come to me, I have to see something of me in them. I have to see, basically, it's like reading a script and you find that you resonate with that character. So I have to see something of me. Even if it's just a hint, then I know that there's something to work with here. And if not, then it's because it's too hard to bring people up to speed given the time that we have to do jobs. So, and it's not very often that you meet those people. It's very rare. And there's some good people out there. Jackie is great, Jackie Vanjari, and Sudeep. Yeah, he's very good, very good. And Tubby is doing some good work. And these kids that work with me, Hitesh Modak is doing some good things. Aditya Podwal does some good things. Deepak has come a long way.
I'm sure they also learn a lot from you.
And I in turn from them. I see, that's the thing. In sharing, you enrich yourself and you find something, and we can never be so arrogant to think we know
everything.
No. You're going to learn something and you don't know where. But my ears and my whole being is like an antenna. I'm on, DEFCON, whatever, orange, red, 1, 3, whatever it is. Because that's the lifeblood of creativity. And music comes from a dialogue, and it's a lot of fun when a group of people together can make something, and so there's definitely good work. Even Abhijit, who works with Vishal Shekhar, he also does very good work. So there's some kids out there. And I guess they're doing as much as they're allowed to do, I mean, maybe left completely unleashed, they'd even take it further. But no, there's some good work happening. Definitely.
When you tour abroad, like you've started doing a lot of it now,
Yeah.
and you do shows there,
Yeah.
and you do shows in India also.
Yeah, it's a complete separate
How
experience.
is it?
You can't even compare it. Man.
Okay.
People's reputations are at stake, so there's really no room for. I mean, when you go on stage, it's all ready. It's done. I have to sound check. That's it. I don't go and wait for the PA to be set up. And
Mics to come.
yeah. The mics, they're all there. The minute I sit and I tweak my kit, they're all placed. In 1 hour, me and Gary have sound checked. Etienne and John come. In half an hour, they're done. Half an hour, we run through a couple of tunes. Then we go backstage and have a glass of wine. And that's it. Because, we're doing 22 gigs in 30 days.
Wow.
I mean, it's like
It's tiring also.
No. It's beyond tiring, man. I've gone to airport with my shirt outside the cab to dry it because it cannot dry.
Oh.
I had to have two change of clothes because it's, John's gig is so demanding. And we mark laundry days. We mark in our schedule. Yeah, you have to. Otherwise you'd have to carry 2 suitcases of clothes. So you got to run through your first set and then bang, do laundry on one day. So you're set for the next leg. So it's a whole other experience, and the music is of course transcendental, But I think if you're with the right crew here, it can be replicated, like when I work with Ashish or Mujib Dadarkar, these guys. When you outsource them, they take care of the back end and then they make sure that things run
Smoothly.
Yeah, I mean, we do AR Rahman live. It's a logistical, we're talking like 100 plus inputs, Pro Tools, dancers, lights, timecode video running with tracks, in-ear monitoring for 25 people. It's a logistical nightmare. And we pulled that off in 3 days.
Wow.
I mean, one day set up in technical, second day full run through technical, third day show. So, I took over as music director of his live gigs. So we streamlined the band a little bit.
Okay.
And I rearranged some of the music. And it's fantastic. We played Chennai, 70,000 people. Bhopal, 100,000 people. D.Y. Patil, 40,000 people. I mean, he's the only guy that can pull those numbers. And it's fantastic for me to do gigs with John and all, which are like 1,000, 2,000 seaters, and then come on stage and see 40, 50, 70,000 people. And it's fantastic.
It's like when you were music director of a show, like you just said for Rahman.
Yeah.
You were also playing, right?
I'm playing.
So at that point, is your mind on playing, or
I'm
sometimes
listening
it's
to
like,
everything.
It's like your mind, oh, that guitar note went wrong or something, Oh.
I know what's happening and not happening.
Right.
And we take issues after the gig, if any.
Okay.
But really, we get most of the kinks out before the gig.
Okay.
Oh yeah. They're all answerable to me.
Hmm.
And the man in charge is Mr. Murthy. He conducts the orchestra and we all report to him.
Okay.
He's just a wonderful, wonderful human being, and he knows every note of music of every song.
Right.
All the bars, everything. If there are some things I've arranged, and I'll tell him, Murthy sir, I don't have time to learn this. He'll say, you look at me. And he conducts everybody. If you tell him that you need to be cued, he'll make a note of it and he will cue you at that bar. So he is like the man with all the charts and everything.
Okay.
But the band and their performance, they're responsible to me.
How is it working with Rahman?
It's fantastic because he's just very easy, and you know what, he knows what he's doing, and he's proven it time and time again, and we have a friendship that goes back 20 years, and before Roja and everything, and it's a great amount of respect and love, and we all want the same thing. We both want the same thing. We want to make sure that people look at Indian music and Indian acts as international, and why shouldn't it be? The next thing is to take this whole show abroad. We're going to try and set up some tours. We're supposed to go to Malaysia at the end of June. That's been moved, but I think there's going to be Australia, New Zealand, and one thing I've insisted is that AR play more piano. And he looked at me and he said, no. And I said, no, you have to play. And then we built a little unplugged section where we just jam together. We do like a little acoustic thing.
Okay.
So it's great fun. It's great fun, and it's the one instance where you don't go on stage thinking you're playing film music, and you're just playing great songs. They're fun to play. So really, I have not much to complain about in my life right now. But I always want things to go higher and better. We have to be better than yesterday. Even a little bit, but we have to somewhere push to get how far we can take it, because we'll never know till we try. And I think, all of us should be in that same place to reach higher and make an effort to really be good representatives, because this is a gift, what we do. It's a gift. We don't have to go to an office and run Excel sheets, and I'm sure that's fine too. But this is a wonderful gift, and we have to be respectful of that and not just take it for granted. So I'm very old school in all those things, you know.
Very practical too.
Yeah, you know. So
Thanks.
that's how it is.
Thanks for all these.
Thanks.